all the curses in Deuteronomy 28. And we're all familiar with the curses in Leviticus 26, I think, right? And I asked everybody, what was the difference? Did anybody ever notice there was a slight difference in the two curses? And I asked everyone what was the difference, and to see if anyone could gauge that. And yes, sir. Can we get Elder Mike?
What I'm gonna do is some of my peoples do when I get there. I'm gonna take a stab at this right here. I might be wrong at it, but now that you say this, that's a very good question. But now that I was thinking about it right quick, in Leviticus, it was all about if they didn't do what they're supposed to do, the curses would come upon them, whatever case would be. It would be curses they'll be in when they go out. Curses is right here. Curses and you had Deuteronomy, curses of the fruit, their wounds, everything. But it never mentioned that it will be curses to them in another land. But in Deuteronomy 28, it said that these curses shall follow you, and they tell about you should come back in ships and all this curses right here, and then they show it should be curses wherever you be at. And so I'm trying to say that the curses with this, you're going to be cursed in the land I have put you in.
Yes.
But in Deuteronomy 28, you're going to be cursed wherever you are going to be at.
Yeah.
The curses are going to follow you. That's how I assume it.
Yeah. You have one says what would happen in the land, in your land, and then another one would happen in the land that you'll be carried away.
Right.
And Deuteronomy is extremely descriptive.
Right.
Leviticus does not mean anything about ships or anything. And Deuteronomy is extremely descriptive. It's very long. It has all type of. It is more. It outlines the blessings in very descriptive categories, and it outlines the curses in very descriptive categories. So that is correct on that sense. And there's also one more thing that highlights in Leviticus that it doesn't highlight in Deuteronomy. And I don't know if anybody ever noticed any of that part. Did y'all notice it when y'all did the?
I don't know about the curse part, but I do know that the blessing part would say that he will the enemies that in Deuteronomy is that the enemies will be in the blessed part. They will be submissive to them, but if not, then the enemy will come and overtake them.
Yeah. Let's take a look at it.
Okay.
And we're gonna bring that information. We're gonna talk about it a little here, and why it is so relevant for us. And have y'all ever heard they have something called this is not any of us. They have I don't know how true this is. They have something called a source. They have sources for Torah. I don't personally think it's accurate, but they say there are certain sources that say that the Torah is put together by the priests when they came back from Babylon. So they say that there is like Leviticus, that's a priestly source. So that was a part of the scriptures that was dedicated to the priests. Then there was a part of Torah that was dedicated to Israel as a whole, like Genesis and Exodus. Genesis and Exodus from the part they came out and the commandments were given. And then any part that is written about the sacrifice in the temple, that part was given to the priests. And then Numbers was given to a certain part. And they say what Ezra did and the scribes, they just put it all together and made it Torah. And so they said the priests took their part, that was written to them, and they put it together, and then the whomever, like the scribes who had the book, they put their part together, and they all put it together, and that made Torah. Now, and I don't know if y'all ever noticed in Genesis 1, where it says Elohim created the heavens and the earth, and then in the second chapter it says, and Yahweh rested the seventh day, Yahweh Elohim. So what they say is that there were certain people that used Elohim and didn't use the name, because they were getting to think that the name was too holy to use, and so they were just using Elohim. And so they would put certain things together, and then there was others, ancient manuscripts that had the name, and they used that. So it's a well-known teaching. I, per se, don't think it's accurate. It's just a theory that they put out. I don't know if anybody's ever heard it. They call it like the JP source. I think it's a number of sources, the priestly source. And I don't know. I don't per se think that's accurate. I do know that there are parts in the scripture that were edited, like when Jacob wrestled the angel. And there's a part that says, this is why we don't eat, what part of it? There's a part of the meat that we don't eat. Yeah, this is why we don't eat that to this day. So when you see like this day, that means somebody went in and put that in the original scripture. They just added that little part. Or if you see, hey, this place was called such and such, and now it's called this. So, or anytime you see like to this day, or the part about Moshe dying. Like, a lot of people say, well, did Moshe write that? And there's a tradition that the rabbis say that Moshe was writing it, crying. he was writing about his death, and he was just crying, writing Torah. And then he puts in there, Moshe was the most humble man or meek man and all. They say he was crying while he was writing it. And they say like the tears are on the screen. You know, that's all tradition. But chances are someone went back and edited it. Was it Joshua that edited that part? Was it one of the scribes that went back and added that? You know, we don't know. However, Scripture says Torah is perfect, it converts the soul. And the reason why we say all that is because we have this part here in Deuteronomy that we want to look at briefly. We want to compare the two and see why there is a difference and why that matters to us. So, can y'all go to that slide here? What's the last one we went to? Try 10. All right, yeah, go to the next one. And the next one, sorry. Next, well, yeah, so try probably 12. Oh, no, that's the first one? Okay. All right. So Leviticus 26 and all right. So they have this part here, Leviticus 26 and 27. If you will not for all this hearken unto me, but will walk contrary to me. There's nothing before this? What's before this?
26.
Okay. All right, so yeah, go back. All right, if you will not for all this hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me, then I will walk contrary to you also in fury. And I will chastise you, how many times?
7.
For your sins. That means I will completely chastise you. I won't stop. Anybody here ever got whoopings?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Anybody feel like, has anybody ever did any whoopings? Anybody ever whooped anyone? All right. If y'all whooped anyone, did y'all feel like y'all left some meat on the table? Like, I should have got them a little bit more. Or do you feel like, all right, that's enough? Anybody ever seen the original House Party movie?
Yeah.
Robert Harris, his son. Yeah, he left out, he snuck in, and he woke up, he found his son stayed out. And he said, boy, I'm going to whoop you till I get tired. And I just took a nap. So And that's like a complete whooping. And so when Yahweh says, I will chastise you 7 times for your sin, it's a complete chastisement. Nothing left, nothing more to do. Right? And then he says, you shall eat the flesh of your sons. Now that happened. All right, that happened in Kings. One mother ate her son. They had 2 mothers. They made an agreement. Hey, let's eat our son. We're hungry. We need to eat our children. And one mother said, we'll eat yours today. Yep. And then the other mother said, okay, we eat yours tomorrow. So they ate the one that day. Then the next day, the mother hid her son. And she got mad and took him to court. And the king was just like, well, what kind of stage are we in where this has to happen? So that actually happened, right? And then Yahweh said, I will destroy your high places and cut down your image and cast down your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols. This actually happened. Ezekiel speaks of this, I think, in Ezekiel chapter 3, where the idols were destroyed and the bodies were laid on top of the idols. 31, I will make your cities waste and bring your sanctuaries unto desolation, and I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors, your sacrifices. I just won't even deal with it anymore. 32, and I will bring you into the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwelt therein shall be astonished at it. And I will scatter you among the heathen. I will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate and your cities waste. This 26, 27 through 33. All right, what's the next slide? So that's 26. What's the next slide? Then shall the land, is this?
That's it.
All right, then shall the land enjoy her Sabbath as long as it lieth desolate. And ye shall be where? In the land, in your enemy's land. Even then shall the land rest and enjoy her Sabbath. As long as it lieth desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbath when ye dwelt upon it. So the Sabbath was an extremely important part of what Yisrael was supposed to do. And we looked at, when we started, we looked at Jeremiah 17, and that Yahweh actually would have let them stay in the land if they kept the Sabbath. He would have said, hey, if y'all keep the Sabbath, I'll let y'all stay in. Eventually, they would have put away the other gods if they just kept the Sabbath. But they didn't keep the Sabbath. Yahweh said, if y'all don't keep the Sabbath, I'm getting rid of y'all. And they did it. Right? And 36, and upon them that are left alive of you, I will send a faintness into their hearts in the land where? Of their enemies. And the sound of a shaking leaf shall chase them, right? And they shall flee as fleeing from a sword. Anybody ever been to a party or a big gathering? All right. Anybody ever been to a party or big gathering and heard a gunshot? Okay, you have? I have. I almost got trampled one time. Yeah, I did. I was at a party. This is years ago. I was a teenager. I was at a party in New York. Shot rang out. 2 guys was beefing, and crowd came around, and then you heard a pow. Then everybody just ran out, and I fell. I tripped and fell. So people run out, and I got up super quick because I knew chances are I would have got trampled, right? But we were running. We were all fleeing from a sword, and they shall flee when none pursueth. And now, if you're ever in a gathering, anybody been in a public gathering like a Walmart or anything and heard a shot or a tire backfire? Y'all ever got nervous? Yeah, ducking. I to this day, if a tire backfires, I'm always looking. A car backfires, sorry. Yeah. Where were we? I know, because we were at the graduation. Dominique's graduation, and we were with the buyers and somebody balloon pop, and we all like look, and I was with B. B was like, he was like, listen, you don't do that to people that's in the inner city, and it was just a balloon pop, and we all were looking like, oh, because it was a bunch of us, and we did. We were almost ready to flee, and nobody was pursuing. And they shall fall one upon another as it were before a sword, when none pursueth, and ye shall have no power to stand before your enemies. You shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up. And they that are left of you shall pine away in their iniquities, and in your enemies' land, and also in the iniquities of their fathers shall they pine away with them. All right, so this is us. We all know this. What's the next slide here? All right. Now, I think the last one was Deuteronomy. And I think this is Leviticus. All right. Now, this is Leviticus. This is the difference. Deuteronomy doesn't say this part. If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespasses, which they trespass against me, that also they have walked contrary unto me, that also I have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them where? To the land of their enemies. And if then their uncircumcised hearts be humble, and they then accept their punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Yaakov, and also my covenant with Isaac, Yitzchak, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember. And I will remember the land, and the land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths while she lieth desolate without them. And they shall accept the punishment of their iniquities, because even because they despise my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes. And yet what? For all that, wherein they be in a land of what?
Enemies.
I will not cast them away, neither will I what?
Abhor them.
To destroy them what? And break my what?
Covenant.
With them, for I am Yahweh their Elohim. But I will for their sake remember the covenant of who? Their ancestors, whom I brought forth out the land of Egypt in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their Elohim. I am Yahweh. Is that it? Oh, all right, go back. All right. Now, when you read Deuteronomy 28, I didn't put Deuteronomy 28. Can anybody pull up Deuteronomy 28, the last 5 verses of that chapter? I think it's what, 55 or 58?
Elder?
Yes, sir.
Are you still asking the difference between the two?
Yeah, I guess I can ask now. I kind of gave the answer away. Oh, you can. What do you see? What would you see as the difference?
For reading them, I would say Leviticus, he gives them an opportunity to repent.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference. So if you look at, I don't have it up here, but Deuteronomy 28, what's the last 5 verses? You have that? What verse is that? All right, so start at about 63.
Deuteronomy 28 and 63. And it shall come to pass that Yahweh rejoiced over you to do good and to multiply you.
Yeah.
So Yahweh will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And you shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among the people. Scatter thee among all people. From the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall thou sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing eyes and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou wilt say, would Elohim it were even. And at even thou shalt say, would Elohim were it morning. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, and by the way whereof I speak unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. And that's it, right? No speech. Elohim says nothing about repenting. Doesn't say anything about you coming back. Doesn't anything about saying you turning or anything. But in Leviticus, he says, if you shall confess your iniquities in the land of your enemies. So if you read Deuteronomy, you would think there's no what? No hope, no repentance, no opportunity. It is what it is. But if you read Leviticus, you will see that there's an opportunity for us. Okay, maybe we can have some refuge. Why? Now I ask the question, why do you think it would be in Leviticus and not Deuteronomy?
Because Leviticus, I would say, I would say because Leviticus first was also the giving of all the guide, the instructions to how we should do things. So it's letting you know that if, because we know that it start out with, we say law, but I say instruction.
Yes, sir.
Instructions.
Yes,
then
sir.
You got judgment and you got statutes. So the instruction is, the judgment is what's going to happen when you break the instructions, and then the statutes, the judgment is going to be what's the penalty for doing it.
Yeah.
So that's why it would be in Leviticus. All those, when you look at it, that is the three precepts of how it happens.
Right.
And then it tells you how to, and then now you will learn now that, hey, look, I've done this, I did this. Now this is what I have to do to make sure this never ever happen again. Does that make a little bit of sense there?
Yeah.
And that's why it's in Leviticus. And Deuteronomy, Moses is rehearsing them that if you do these things, this was going to happen to you, point blank, get out of here. But we do have another precept to also give us a Leviticus all over again, too.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, if you read Leviticus, it gives, wonderful instructions about, literal instructions about how to worship Elohim. Exodus gives instructions about building an edifice for Ruach HaKodesh, really to dwell in. How much we should cherish the presence of Elohim. Ruach HaKodesh. We can't build a temple. We can't go out and build that temple. But if Ruach HaKodesh dwells within us, we know that it should be a cherished possession. We know that we have to keep the Ten Commandments and know that we have to value his presence. Leviticus is how we remain and continue to be a holy people. Yes. And it also shows the value of how important it is for structure, and it is also telling the Kohanim, the priests, that there is an opportunity even though all of this is done away with. So we have no temple, right? So all of the laws of the temple are gone. We have no sacrifices in the land of our enemy. So all those are gone. Now, there were men that actually built a temple in Egypt. And they built a temple in Egypt. I think it was Cairo, Egypt. And when Yisrael went there, and they were offering sacrifices in Egypt. Had a temple, offering. So they were trying to build a temple in the land of their enemies. Of course, that didn't fly. All right, but they did. It was a standing temple in Egypt during the time, I think it's during the time of Alexander, when the Septuagint was written in Egypt. We built the temple there. And that's another reason why HaMashiach dwelt there or went there as a child, because he could dwell amongst scattered Jews. All right, but mostly in the land of our enemies, we don't have an opportunity to build a temple. We can't give all the instructions, but we can observe what? The dietary law. Yes. We can observe the laws of clean and unclean. All right, we can do those in the land of their enemies, and so it highlights that the importance of us being a priesthood or royal priesthood. We have to realize this in the land of our enemies. And in doing that, the most important thing that we have to remember in the land of our enemies is what? What's that?
Humble, I always say. We got to humble ourselves.
Humble ourselves, right? Humble ourselves and accept what?
The punishment of that.
Right. Accept the punishment of our iniquities.
Yes.
Right? And then Elohim will remember what? The covenant. All right? And so the covenant with Abraham, and then the covenant with who? Right. And then if it's the covenant with them, who is it the covenant with now? Right. Us. All right. What are the words of the covenant? Oh, oh, okay. All right. What were the words of the covenant? The 10 Commandments. Right. They are the words of the covenant. We call them the 10 Commandments, but they are literally the words of the covenant. Deuteronomy 5, I believe, says Moshe came down from the mount with 2 tables, and these tables are the words of the covenant. So we always, I don't know why, well, I know why. And it's not bad to say the 10 Commandments, but we try to remember that these are the words of our covenant. All right, the contract, the agreement, 10 laws to worship Elohim, or 5 rather, to worship Elohim, 5 to maintain our living with one another. All right, now if we remember that, then we can find a type of refuge in the land of our enemies. But would we be able to just remove or eradicate the punishment? No. All right, no. And so that's why when Yisrael went into Babylon, the main focus was not escaping. The main focus was not a revolution. The main focus was not Yisrael pride. Remember who you are. Awaken. Was that the main focus?
Yes.
What are y'all, so
No, I'm saying not trying to rebel, but
Yeah.
remember who you are so you can get back to the covenant.
so you get back to the covenant.
Yes.
So how did they go about doing that?
Keeping the Sabbath.
Keeping the Sabbath, and what else? Well, let's look at it. All right. Let's go to Daniel. Chapter 1. And let's see what was done. Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect.
All right, Daniel 1:1, and I'm reading from the NIV. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Yehuda, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. And Yahweh delivered Jehoiakim, king of Yehuda, into his hand, along with some of the articles from the temple of Elohim. These he carried off to the temple by his God in Babylonia and put there in the treasure house of his God. Then the king ordered Ashpenaz, chief of his court officials, to bring into the king's service some of the Israelites from the royal family and nobility, young men without any physical defect, handsome, showing aptitude for every kind of learning, well-informed, quick to understand, and qualified to serve in the king's palace.
All right, so we have Israelite men that stood out. All right, what did they stand out for? Read that again.
Young men without any physical defect, handsome, showing aptitude for every kind of learning, well-informed, quick to understand, and qualified to serve in the king's palace.
All right, so did they stand out did they say anything about them keeping Torah? No, they stand out for them, or anything in particular has to do with Torah. All right, it's just their conduct. Just like Yosef. When Yosef was in jail, did they say anything about him? About what he did in jail? What stood out about Yosef? When he went to Egypt, his character.
Yeah.
And how was his character shaped?
And also his character was shaped on Yahweh ways because they say because Potiphar was part of the scripture say that because of before he got put in jail, You'll say that they knew that y'all was with them, and that's why he got promoted and everything that was blessed around Potiphar. And then, then he got put in jail. And also, again, the character in jail was the people, even though he was in jail, the man of the jail put him over everybody else because of his character.
100%. Now, how is that character formed? Did he just all of a sudden have that?
No, by keeping the...
Right. He was brought up in the ways of his father.
That's right.
He was brought up in the ways of Torah. And they didn't see the seed, but what did they see?
The fruit.
The fruit. And so often, people won't see the seed. They'll only see what?
The fruit.
Right. So when we go out to places, they might not know where you fellowship, your Elohim, who you serve, how you serve it. But they will notice what? Your character. That will stand out more than you carrying your, coming out and showing that you have your Bible. Because a lot of people do that. And now there's more of a distrust for religion than there is a trust for it.
Yes.
And so oftentimes if anyone shows how if they're dedicated to any type of form, whether it's church, mosque, whatever, we are looked at with a certain type of distrust. You're a hypocrite. You ain't, But if your character shows, that highlights more than anything. And so there was no difference. They didn't know the difference between them. They knew they were Israelite men, but they didn't think about their God, or they didn't think about how they came into that faith or that persuasion. But they were Israelite men of nobility. All right? There's some studies that say Daniel was actually a part of the priestly order. A lot of studies say he was a Levite. I'm still searching that, but it's a good chance he was, because when he prayed 3 times a day, and he prayed according to the same schedule as the sacrifices. So they say that's why he prayed those times, evening, morning sacrifices, he would pray. And you would have to be a priest at that time to know those schedules. So that's why a lot of people relate that to him being a priest. But that stood out. Their character stood out. The fruit of Torah stood out. But they didn't see the seed being implanted. All right, and continue to read.
He was to teach them the language and literature of the Babylonians. The king assigned them a daily amount of food and wine from the king's table. They were to be trained for 3 years, and after that they were to enter the king's service.
Right.
Among those who were chosen were some from Yehuda: Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The chief officials gave them new names. To Daniel, the name Belteshazzar; to Hananiah, Shadrach; to Mishael, Meshach; and to Azariah, Abednego. But Daniel resolved not to defile himself with the royal food and wine, and he asked the chief official for permission not to defile himself this way.
Right.
Now Elohim had caused the official to show favor and compassion to Daniel. But the official told Daniel, I am afraid of my lord the king, who has assigned you food and drink. Why should he see you looking worse than the other young men your age? The king would then have my head because of you. Daniel then said to the guard whom the chief official had appointed over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please test your servants for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then compare our appearance with that of the young men who eat the royal food, and treat your servants in accordance with what you see. So he agreed to this and tested them for 10 days.
Right.
At the end of the 10 days, they looked healthier and better nourished than any of the young men who ate the royal food. So the guard took away their choice food and the wine they were to drink, and gave them vegetables instead. To these 4 young men, Elohim gave knowledge and understanding of all kinds of literature and learning. And Daniel could understand visions and dreams of all kinds. At the end of the time set by the king to bring them into his service, the chief official presented them to Nebuchadnezzar.
Right.
The king talked with them, and he found none equal to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah.
Now, they weren't the only 4 that were chosen, or that were among this whole group. but they were the only 4 that stood out. All right. Now, did they say, we're not going to do this? We're not going to serve the king of Babylon. Did they say that? No. They say, we're going to rebel because we're Israelites. No. But they had to embrace it. Why? That was told to them before they went into Babylon. All right, look at Jeremiah 31. I think it's 31 or 29? 29. Jeremiah 29. That early? Whew. I think, is it 4? Yeah, so let's start at verse 4.
Jeremiah 29:4.
Uh-huh.
This is what Yahweh Almighty, the Elohim of Yisrael, say to all those I carried into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Build houses and settle down. Plant gardens and eat what they produce. Marry and have sons and daughters. Find wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, so that they too may have sons and daughters. Increase in number there. Do not decrease. Also seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to Yahweh for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper.
Now, there were 2, Israel was divided into 2 kingdoms, right? You have the 10 tribes, and then you have the southern kingdom, which is Yehuda, eventually Benjamin and Levi, right? Did Yahweh give any instructions to the other tribes when they were scattered? The other 10. He just got them. He just got rid of them. But the last tribe, he began to prepare them. And I asked y'all this. If you knew you were going to go through something difficult, would you want Elohim to just make it happen, or would you rather him prepare y'all?
I'd rather be prepared.
Prepare? You would want to know? You would want it to just come in, I'll deal with it. Well, how would you, would you be nervous? Yeah. Naturally, you'd be nervous? You'd be okay with that?
Wouldn't it be okay being nervous?
No, well, what if you knew what was going to happen?
Some people say it's better not to know.
Yeah, I don't know either way. I guess, but I don't know. What's that? You need to know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too.
I know.
Because knowing is half of the battle.
Yeah.
So now you can accept it, because then I think sometimes knowing, then it keeps you from now questioning Yahweh.
Yeah. And that's difficult to boy.
It is.
That's difficult. But when you read Jeremiah, I think you see you start to see the difference. I think in Jeremiah more than anything, you'll see more false prophets than anything. And most people now, when you hear from Elohim, it's always positive. Especially most people think Elohim is just a good. Not that he's not
when
good.
When most people claim they've heard from Yahweh.
Yeah, when they claim they heard from Yahweh, it's always something positive. But you see here, Yahweh's really preparing them for something that is going to be difficult. And when he says, make wives, take you wives, I forgot the word. There's a word that says, it's a word that says when you read something, you automatically denote that there are certain things of fact. There's an actual word for it. I highlighted it in a book I read, but I think it's abrogation. I'm not sure. But
go ahead.
I don't know. But there's a word that it says when you assume something is a fact when you read it. And so when it says take ye wives, it's safe to assume that he's not speaking of wives of Babylon.
No.
Right. And that's something you should denote as a fact. He's not saying, hey, go there, find you some wives and take them. Right. It's safe to make the assumption that when he says wives, have wives of your own people, your own faith, begot sons and daughters, give your daughters to their husbands, that ye may bear sons and daughters, that ye be increased and not diminished. That in itself, if you are decreased and diminished, that lets you know he's not telling them find wives of Babylon. All right. Seek the peace of the city. All right. And how many of us, now this is bad to say, really seek the peace of this country. Or a lot of times we like, man, burn this down, man. Okay, it's Babylon. We in Babylon. Okay, what happens to this city? Anybody? Well, no, we don't remember anyone. Yes.
I was wondering. I was reading that, and I was wondering, is he saying seek the peace of the city, as in pray for the city, or just seek where peace dwells in the city?
He says, I'm trying to think. He says, in its peace, ye shall have peace. So in the peace of the city, you'll have peace. And so I don't know if anybody ever learned about a lot of the riots that happened in the 60s and for King and all those guys. What they don't tell you is that it was a time of extreme unrest all over. So you had Vietnam. It wasn't just black people protesting. It was like white people protesting about Vietnam. It was just a time of incredible unrest in this country. World War I happened less than 100 years ago. They just came out of war. You had the Great Depression. It came out of World War II. So the whole country was antsy. But while the country was antsy, guess who was prospering? We were. You had Black Wall Street. My grandfather, not my great-grandfather, he lived in Goldsboro, North Carolina. He often tells, my aunts tell the story that during the Great Depression, my grandmother didn't know it happened. So I asked one time, what was the Great Depression like? She's like, I have no idea. They were eating steaks during that time. Like, they were just living good. And a lot of our people, I don't know how much if you've ever gotten a chance, your grandfather lived in that time, right? Did your father ever talk about that? That he ever talked about it?
Well, my father says his whole childhood was a Great Depression. So he didn't feel much ways different. But during the actual time of the Great Depression, my grandfather was buying land. He had amassed a considerable amount of land, actually. So yeah, it was a depression for some, but not for everybody.
Yeah, right.
Just to land back off your point, I'm not going to knock the civil rights movement, but at the same time, we did have our own bus system that we owned.
Bus system.
We owned a lot of transportation. We owned businesses. The other nations burned them down and destroyed it, but at the same time, we had our own.
Yeah.
And we were kind of moved into sharing everything. So
y'all ever heard the story about Black Wall Street?
Yeah, matter of fact, they want to say Black Wall Street model after here. I don't know if it's somewhere in North Carolina, one place right. They was not the only place. That just one was one.
Right.
It was in North Carolina, place right there.
Rosewood, Florida.
Down
too.
in Florida.
Yeah.
But I was going back. What you were saying too. Also, with the landbacking part is, I grew up. In the 60s, of course, and none of them don't know about it, but in Carver Village, we had everything. I mean, we had our grocery store, we had our filling stations, we had our dry cleaners, we had our daycare. So we really never had to leave out of Carver Village to go anywhere else. Everything was there for us, and for us, it's like I was telling them on the way here that I don't know what it is to be hungry.
Yeah.
Wow. I never know what it is. I never know what it is not to have lights or everything. I say I know that people talk about these things, but and all the kids that I grew up with, we all ate. Now, it's still they consider us staying in the hood. They consider us being poor.
Right.
But from our viewpoint is we played, we had good times, whatever the case would be, and it was an all community. And the only time we got to see quote unquote other people of our complexion is when we left out of Carver Village and maybe going a Sunday drive or whatever the case may be, and then we would get the N-words, whatever the case may be. But we were sheltered from all that. But it was right around the corner. It was, not in Georgia, not in Savannah, Georgia, but up the road and stuff. They were still hanging people in the 60s and stuff. But we were never oblivious to all that right there. So like you said, that little area of pocket where we was at, we was good.
Yeah. And a lot of us were good. We were surviving, but a lot of I'll say other members of this country, I'll say it like that so you know what I'm talking about, why I won't get kicked off Facebook, right? They were at a time of unrest.
Yes.
They were struggling economically. During the 20s, Harlem was really kicking off.
Yes.
Right? So you don't hear about us talk about the Great Depression and that. But when they saw us thriving and them losing,
yes,
they said, well, why are they doing so good and we're not? And because the area around us was at unrest, guess what happened? They brought it on to us.
That's right.
And so that's why Elohim says, seek the peace of the city. Because if they would have made money, they wouldn't have cared nothing about us. If they would have been okay, they wouldn't have cared about us. They would have just did whatever. We would have stayed in our little part of town, making our little money, our barbershops, our schools, our bus system, and we'd have been fine. But because they started losing money, especially when they lost all that free labor, they said, okay, well, we got to do something. Because there's no way in the world they should be making all this money and we struggling. That's just not right. And not only that, even during the late 70s, again, when we started having our own communities, we started living amongst ourselves with the Black Panther movement, right? All of the things and programs they implemented. Head Start, that's all from the Black Panthers.
Free lunch program.
Free lunch program,
Free.
all from the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
Feeding, we used to call them bakalaks, right? But those little lunches that they give you in the summer, they would give all the kids lunches. That's all came from the Black Panthers. So we were just living amongst ourselves, and we were thriving. But when they saw that economically, because they were out of unrest, because in California, they were experienced a lot of impoverished times. The city was not moving. And another detail of it, which I won't go too much into, there were people that said they were us that are not us. They were taking over that California area. Yeah. They were building Hollywood, and they were isolating everybody. And they still, if you look more into it, all of Hollywood is really them. Mm-hmm. They're not in movies, but those production companies, special effects companies, what's the
all of it.
All of it, right?
To your point, there was another community similar to Black Wall Street in Manhattan Beach.
Yeah.
In California.
Yeah.
All us.
Yeah, they say, what's the judge?
Joe Brown?
Joe Brown.
Yeah, he's from that area. Matter of fact, I used to work with a guy, and he was telling us, he was from California. We were talking about Joe Brown. He was just shaking his head. He was like, that should have been my daddy. We were like laughing. He was like, no, my mother's from California. That's where a lot of us black people live, in that strip. And my mother dated Joe Brown. And he was like, they all had money out there. But because, again, we were prospering and that city was not, but those that act like us, they were taking over the city, building Hollywood. They also built Vegas as well. All right. They started making money out there, and we were making money, but the normal people, other people were not. So what did they do? Put drugs into our community. Yeah. All right. Anybody ever heard of the Iran-Contra affairs?
Yes.
You heard of that, right?
Yes.
All right. What happened there? Yep. And they really financed the whole war.
Nicaraguan war.
Yep. They financed the whole war from us selling drugs. Mm-hmm. And then they brought Oliver North to court. I remember seeing it. I didn't know what it was about when I was a kid. And they kept asking him and Reagan, hey, what was going on? They kept saying, man, I don't remember. I don't remember.
He kept saying, I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
That's all he kept saying. I plead the fifth.
Yeah. And sometimes you'll hear stories. They say that we all live near trains. And they say there would be a train that come in and would just sit for days. And the train would just be sitting there. And then some kids would say, why is that train here? And they would go, and the train would be full of guns, right? It'd just be full of guns. And then they would say, oh, wow. And they would go take them, and the train would leave. And then we would have all these guns and things. Then they say months or years later, another train would come in, and they knew what it was. And they would go, and that's how they would get guns in our community. And so when they had that and they put drugs in our community, they were able to finance a war from all that money they were making in California, in New York, all over Chicago, all where we live, because they were struggling. So they brought that on us, and they used us as pawns. The same thing with segregation. We were doing good. We had our own pretty much economic system, right? Just like the numbers. We had our own lottery system. We had our lottery system. Guess what? We need to make our own. We were bootleggers making our own alcohol. They said, well, we need to tap into this to take the money, right? And so because the whole area around us was at unrest, they put it on us. So that's why Elohim said, you gotta seek the peace of the city. Because if not, y'all gonna be in trouble. And we see that now today. And as long as that area was good, we were good. But we were in the land of our enemies. And as we are now. And so what the mystery is, how do we remain faithful to Elohim now in the land of our enemies? And how did Daniel do it? Did they all dress the same? Did Daniel, the Hebrew boy, did they all dress a certain way? Or were they just like everybody else and they didn't see the difference? How were they when it came to the diet? Because they all were very intelligent. They all were very smart. But when it came to the diet, that's when they spoke up. Did they ask them, what God are you serving? Did they preach to, who was it? That general. They say, you circumcised, be thou made, how dare you touch me, the anointed of Elohim, Yisraelite, chosen of the Most High? No, they fell in line, they fell into the program. But when it came time, okay, we got to put it different. I can't jeopardize my faith for this. Let me speak up. And did they just say, well, I ain't doing it? They were very wise. And they said, hey, if it's okay, can we just not do this? And what did the general say? I'm not getting my head cut off because of y'all. He said, just give us a couple of days. Gave him a couple of days, and they did it, and they noticed the difference. So we have to really pray for a lot of wisdom and understanding because we're in the land of our enemies. I wish we could give everybody a blueprint. Do this, do that, do this, do that, and you would strive. But there really isn't. We have to pray for Ruach HaKodesh, the wisdom and guidance in the land of our enemies. We have to be very strategic. We have to get jobs. Can we run out? How likely is it? Anybody here run their own business? Oh, yeah. All right. Do you live off your business or you just run it?
I live off of it.
Okay. How difficult is it without the Sabbath?
Ain't difficult at all.
It's not difficult? Do you think you would make more if you worked on Saturdays?
I think I would.
Yeah. So there's a part of contentment that you have to have. You have to be like, okay, I can't risk it all because of the Sabbath. And that's something that Ruach HaKodesh provides. You know, godliness and contentment is what? Great gain. But a lot of us will say, man, I can make a whole lot more if I just, did a little bit more. Compromise just a little bit. And because we don't be content. But it's not, we can't operate the same way as everybody else. We can't even operate the same as other black people because we are in the land of our enemies. But does that mean we go busting in the churches saying y'all are preaching the wrong thing?
No.
That means if there's a big convention, I say, hey, let's all come together. Let's all dress alike and let's go march around there.
No, I'm totally exactly.
Nah, because that's not operating properly in the land of our enemies. That's not what Elohim told us.
That's right.
Daniel was not an evangelist. He was not trying to convert anybody in Babylon. What he was doing was letting his light shine.
Yes.
And he paid for it. Did he say to everybody, let's have a prayer meeting three times a day? Did he tell anybody he was praying 3 times a day?
No.
All he did was do the same thing he always did. But everybody around him got jealous. And there are a lot of people that will see our young people prosper, and they might get a little jealous. There are a lot of people that might see your young people and say, why can't my young people be like their young people? You know?
I want to say something before you go.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think that only working for yourself or having your own business is compromising. But there's a lot of opportunities, like our youth. Mostly all the SAT testers is what? On Saturdays.
Yes.
Okay. So most of all who's trying to get a house, the seminars and stuff, the giveaways, the free things. I'm in the finances, all the finances seminars and stuff that I want to get myself into. I can't get into them because why? Theirs on Saturday,
yep.
So it's not just the business side of it. Most of the whole world is centered around that, right? So even those who are not in business, just going through other things that you need, the Sabbath is always the obstacle that you have to sacrifice because you lose out when everybody else can't do.
100%. 100%. 100%. All right, what's the who's the youngest here? What's anybody still in school? Who's still in school? 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't know where Tink is. She's here though, right? I saw her. All right. What grade are you in? Yeah. You're a big guy. Yeah. You play football? Okay. Brother Trevor? All right. You think you'll get a scholarship? All right. So, to college? All right. What happens if they play on the Sabbath?
I can't play.
So, but you're a big guy.
But it's the same situation right now because majority of our varsity games are all on Friday night.
Yeah.
I can't play then too, so like I can play some games, but I can't play all of them.
Yeah. And so, is that your mom?
That's my auntie.
Auntie? You probably, okay. Shout out to the auntie. All right. You'll probably make your auntie a millionaire.
Yes, sir.
And if she wanted to be a millionaire, she'd probably be like, hey, you're a big guy. But that's an adjustment that we have to make.
Yeah.
And that's something that you probably have to decide. Well, you sound like you already made that decision, unfortunately.
Yes, sir.
You know, fortunately.
Yeah.
You know, my son is fairly tall, and the first thing they ask you is what?
You play basketball.
Yeah, right. And he has to tell him what? You know, and people wanted me to get him in camp as a young man, teach him, you know, but I knew offhand, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. All right, yes, ma'am.
It's on, I believe, yeah. So I like that we're having this topic because me and my husband, we always talk about this because we have our son.
Yeah.
He's young right now, fairly young. But me as being in their age group and was born and raised in this way of life, my auntie always allowed me to do anything my heart desired. My auntie raised me. And we just made a stance. And anything and everything I ever did, they accommodated. Even going into the work field, if the job really wants you and they see value in you, they accommodate it. But back to the sports thing, this is my stance. I don't ever want to tell my son, no, you can't do it or whatever the case may be, but you know what that comes with.
Yes.
So if you do want to be a basketball player or a football player, if they see value in you, I do believe in my higher power. So if there's a will, there's a way, y'all will provide that. And if you don't, then you'll know that it's not for you.
Yeah.
But I would never tell him, oh no, you can't be a football. And that's the same thing we would tell Trevor, like, you know, he'll go, maybe, you know, like on the days, Friday, right now the sun set a little late. Yeah. So you can start the game, but somebody's going to pick him up as soon as the sun set.
Right.
And if a scout see the value in him, then it would be the same thing when you go further on and further on.
Yeah, but it's unfortunately those are tough, without question. And I think he used to have games, and he would miss. He missed on Fridays. I think one Friday you just didn't even go, right? Huh? Oh, you were kind of young there.
That's right. You did it right. No, you can't go. Yeah.
But unfortunately, these are tough decisions that we all have to make. And it's good and when you raise them like that, and when you're raised like that, hey, I'm not going to hold you back for anything, but you know. And sometimes it's the child's decision. You know the decision you're going to have to make. And you know the consequences of both.
Shalom, family. I've really enjoyed what you shared just about not only your upbringing, but how you're passing that that fire and desire to do the Most High's will on into the next generation. I know Elder shared, he and I are both the first generations out of our immediate families and truths. So there's a lot of things that we have had to learn as we go. We didn't have our own parents to look at and say and model certain behaviors after. But I absolutely love that we can have a conversation like this where we can be open and kind of share those experiences. Because one thing as parents raising children in this walk, we were always very mindful of how much exposure we give. You know what I mean? Do we even let them be tempted by compromising the Shabbat for enjoyment's sake, for activity's sake, or do we just say right off the bat, no, let's not even attempt to go down this path because you're going to have to make sacrifices. But being conditioned from your very beginning to go ahead, dream big, do what you do, but in that, know that the first and most paramount thing is keeping the statutes, laws, and judgments of the Most High. Let that be first, and let everything else fall underneath that umbrella, and see what Yahweh will do for you. See how many opportunities He will give. See how many doors will open. See how many others will hear and see your walk and your testimony and be drawn to the Most High because of the way you live. That's how I personally came into the walk. Seeing someone else take a stand and doing something we were both enjoying doing as young teenagers, and hearing her say, no, I can't do that because it's the Sabbath. And I said, the Sabbath? What is the Sabbath you talking about? Tell me more. And so if she wasn't willing to take an open stand with, oh, no, this is an activity we enjoy doing, but I won't be doing it on Saturday afternoon. It's the Shabbat. Like, if that wasn't her stand, it may have delayed my own awakening. So it's an opportunity not only for us to stick to Yahweh's command, but we are constantly living epistles and witnessing to others just by enjoying and living and walking the walk and living life, living the faith in our life openly. We don't want to do it behind closed doors or whisper, oh, no, I can't do that. It's the Sabbath. We want to be bold about it. Oh, no, I won't be there. It's the Sabbath. I'm a Sabbath keeper. I'm a keeper of the Most High's covenant. And when you do that, you'd be surprised how many others are watching and taking strength from the stand that you take. So I really enjoyed. Thank y'all for indulging this conversation.
Without question. And I think, and like I said, y'all are generations in. Yeah. So y'all know some of the nuances of it, right?
And everything you say is wonderful. But I just want to get. Sometimes you have to know your own truth.
Right.
Now, as for me is, I know how I am, so I had to be in my own truth here. So I don't poke with the fire. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my dad used to always teach us is that, hey, look, you know what? Because I know that what I put myself to, I'm gonna be serious about it, and I want to go to the most highest point already. So as for me is, like I said, this is all the spirit of discernment because everybody's different. I knew that there were certain avenues that I didn't ever want to try because I didn't want to get a tempt to it, because maybe it may suck me in. So I stayed away from it. And I tell you, this was one. So I was always content, like Trevor. I was content, like I won the vocational championship that year at technical school for being, the best carpenter. But I knew, just like Joella said this, I knew after that race I couldn't go no further. But to me, the mindset of just winning that one was good enough for me, because I knew that I couldn't go to the state, because the state was going to be on Saturday. So the guy who came in second place took my spot and went, and he didn't win though. But I knew that if I would have went to the state, I would have won the state too. But I was just happy with just winning the school thing, so we got to be content, within the boundaries of, like you say, of serving the Most High Yahweh.
That is wonderfully said. That is wonderfully said. And again, godliness with contentment is great gain. And that's where culture comes in. As parents, how much do we show the value of material things? How much do we pay, what value do we place on having a lot? Yeah, exactly.
They be getting on me all the time because I be
for the
talking
overall
without the
rule.
mic. No, but I was just saying, do we show more value in achieving, natural things versus keeping the covenant of the Most High Yah? Yeah, and we have to be careful, because our words may say one thing, but you made an example a few weeks back where, if your child was immersed in the Most High's name, do you get on the phone with all your family, friends, and share that like you would because he graduated high school or college? Which one is going to spread further? Which one are you going to promote further? So you may be telling your son or daughter, what we really, we value above all our spiritual walk and our spiritual health and our spiritual responsibility. But do we just talk that talk, or do we walk that walk too? So yeah, I was reminiscing on that particular teaching point. I didn't mean to derail the conversation.
No, right, 100%.
Well said.
Yeah. And you want to say something, sis?
Well, I was really trying to understand the question, because that was a question you was asking, right?
Yeah.
You wanted us to respond. So can you say it one more time?
So, as a people, how much do we show the value of material things overall? So, like you said, you run your own business. Do you show your family we're content, we have enough to eat, we got good clothes? Or do you show your family, hey, I got to get to the next level, I got to get to the next level, I got to get to the next level? Is that something you value? Do I value riches, or do I value my family? And we all have food to eat, we all have clothes.
That's right.
Or do I show them, I got to get more, I got to get more, I got to get more? And then when you show, I got to get more, or when you dress, do I show I have the finest clothes, the finest car? Or do I show, hey, I am showing my family I'm content, we got everything we need, you'll never go hungry. You'll never be homeless.
That's right.
You'll never be without your parents. And this is what you value. Or do we value, hey, we have to strive. We can't have enough. We got to keep going, got to keep going, got to keep going. And that's something that we instilling that in our children as a young age growing up, or are we instilling it more? Where is the line drawn? Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I think this is a great conversation. So for me, being I wouldn't say a newly parent, my son just turned 5, but just navigating what I was taught, because as you two keep saying that y'all are like a first generation. For me, I would be a third generation.
That's wonderful.
So
That's crazy, right?
when being younger and as time has transgressed or whatever, things have loosened up. Some things, they're more understanding.
Yeah.
Of course, you getting older, you I would say challenge things, and you seek Yahweh and things for yourself. But what I would say is, like, me being raised, I've always we had this conversation in the truck coming up here. I think it's just so funny. I've always my auntie always took good care of me.
Yeah.
As I was saying earlier, anything I ever wanted, I never saw her struggle. I don't know if she was, but I know that she worked a lot to give me everything that I want. But she always instilled things of, I'm not just giving this to you. You have to do this, this, this. I know every weekend I'm going to service. Friday, I go to my grandma's house. I clean up. We get ready for the Sabbath. Everything is in structure. So
Yes.
you do what you need to do. I'm going to do what I need to do. And you get what not only you need, but also with what you want.
Yeah.
And I do not believe, my husband had made a little face when you said being content. I don't believe in being content, but I do believe in all praises go to Yahweh.
Yeah.
So anything that we have, anything that we will acquire, it goes to Yahweh.
Yeah.
Being complacent, I do feel like can be a bad thing to teach any kid, because
Yeah.
doing enough to get by, my auntie always used to get on me about that.
Yeah.
If you can make an A, and I know you can make an A, you're going to make an A.
Yeah.
We're not going to, just because to be in the school you need an 80%. If you
Right.
can do 90 or 100, you need to do it.
Yeah.
And those factors, along with being in sports all of my life, have taught me things in the real world, but also in my spirituality as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can correlate both of those, not to get too off topic, but like when you can correlate both of those, it will do better for the younger generation, because if you just allow them to be content, they get spiritual lazy as well.
Yeah. 100%.
So I wouldn't say, I mean, I get what you're saying, like the materialistic thing.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to teach them not to be materialistic, but also it's okay to want more in life.
So what do y'all think so is there a difference between being content and complacent?
You know, and I'm gonna go back because I'm gonna come back to that right there. One of the myths, and like I said when I was driving in the van, we talk about this kind of subject when the same thing is. One of the myths is, and here I'm gonna stand because I'm a little bit older enough. Ashley Park, which is now $400,000 houses.
Uh-huh.
When I grew up, they were starter houses for a certain set of people. They only costed maybe way back then in the 60s and the 70s, probably maybe at the most $20,000, $30,000.
Wow.
So the point I'm trying to make to you now, all these newbies in here, I'm gonna ride by Ashley Park and say, you know what, I want to live there. To me, I say these are houses that people grew up in that they don't move on.
Right.
So the value of things is where they put things at. I remember, you know this. Anybody who walks around with a Coogee sweater,
Yep.
how much did Coogee sweater cost back in the day?
Yep.
But it's no value now. So it's what they put the value on. So we got to be careful
Right.
how we look at what put our value, because they put the value on it and they take the value off of it. But like you say, being complacent. Now, as for me is, again, knowing yourself. So I have to just speak on me. Like she said is, I knew that I could make an A, but I wasn't going to make an A because I ain't want to make an A. All I wanted to do was to get by. Now, my sister Denise, the one who raised her,
Yeah.
she made the A. So she got the bicycle for free. I say to myself, I'm going to get my own job, buy my own bicycle. And mama ain't going to hold me to no A, because once you make that A, you can't come off that pedestal. So I fly under the radar.
Yeah.
You know,
Yo, Mike.
so again, you know, like I say is, but I just want to get back to the points of value. Yeah. We got to be careful how we look at what value is, because something, it goes back to what y'all always say. And I tell everybody this on my job, he only promises one thing: food, shelter, and clothes.
Yes.
And once you got them right there, that's all.
Yeah.
Anything else is just a bonus.
Yeah. So is there a difference between being content? You got a mic. You got a mic over there? There you go. I was giving you.
I was gonna say I do think there is a difference between contentment and complacency.
Yeah.
I feel like you can be content and still not settle.
Right.
So like if you have contentment, that doesn't mean that you're like that's the end all be all. But I can't remember the scripture right now, but I know for sure it's in Philippians.
Yes.
I can't remember the scripture, but it does talk about contentment.
Right.
I think it's Philippians.
I've
4.
learned how to abound. I've learned to be a base.
Yeah. So like I can be in a season or a place where like I may not have everything I want, but I'm content with what Yahweh has given me.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times Yahweh gives us things, or he gives us just enough so that we can keep, depending on him, and we won't get like too ahead of ourselves where we think we can do it on ourselves or by ourselves. Sorry. And I think sometimes Yahweh keeps us content just to keep us like kind of humble in a way.
Yeah.
So I do think that contentment it's not necessarily anything wrong with contentment, but I do think it can be kind of detrimental to settle in your season. So like stay where Yahweh is keeping you just because you're comfortable there, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm like making sense or if that. Yeah.
You're making sense.
That's all.
What y'all saying is right. So this thing is a precept by precept.
Right.
But remember now, who showed contentment? There was 3 people. He gave one talent. He gave one other talent. And that one who was contented, he didn't took right. So we must still take that little that we got and do something with it. But we still got to
agree.
It's a balance. That's just all it is.
It is.
That's
exactly
exactly what I was going to say. It's a balance. I think in everything we do, it's a balance. And I agree with her. She said something so solid because me in my 20s and finding myself, there are times where I'm off track because Yahweh is blessed me with something. You do lose track and you do feel like, oh, me, I, and those praises don't go to Yahweh. I think with spiritual growth, he will bless you with more. But when you are when you're still growing and you're still learning, contentment can be a good thing. But what Uncle Willie, what Minister Willie, Elder Willie was saying, my bad, Elder Willie was saying, you should always still use those talents and water them because Yahweh gave it to you for a reason as well.
And that, yes, sir.
I was just wanting to land back off of the point. I think with complacency can lead to slothfulness.
Right.
But if you're content, it depends on where you at with being content. Some people want more and they strive for more. Doesn't mean that the other person who's settled is not, is being lazy.
Yeah.
But they are content with what they have. And I think it's a great point what Anna made that, the Most High, he already gave his children everything, and you see what they did.
Right.
So it's like that putting us in a place to make us always strive to need him is where he wants us. Not saying we can't excel, but remembering that when we do excel, it was for his glory. It was, to give him praise.
That's a great point.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And to land back on all this already, this is so wonderful, like Juwada said, it's wonderful. And let me tell you what it is. And I told everybody this in the assembly. There was a big, I'm talking about a quick money-making job. We talking about almost close to $15,000 I could have made in almost 2 days. But I had to turn it down. I had to because I couldn't do it. Now, as you would say, if I was younger, like Joella said, I would have figured out somehow, man, to work that job. I had to work round the clock, sleep 1 hour, whatever the case may be. But now I'm in this content stage where, hey, look, if it was for me, it'll be there for me when I get through this other job. Now I could have told other people, well, you know what, I'm sick or whatever the case may be, my truck broke down. And that's what I would have did and lied and go do that quick job and then come back to their job. But I know that ain't right no more to be doing, So it does matter.
All right, look at.
I would just say that's wisdom.
And that's the thing is like you're saying, discernment. I think James says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask from Elohim above, who giveth liberty to any that asks. And that's a wisdom that we have to have now to land of our enemies. That wasn't needed. Yisrael didn't need that type of wisdom in the promised land. They all were landowners. they all had their own food. They all had their own sources. Yahweh made sure no one would you would never have 2 generations of poverty. And if you got into some trouble, your family member was supposed to get you out. And you never would have, your grandson would never be impoverished by law. We don't have that now, unfortunately. And so because of that, we're in a land where it is a land of prosperity. Undoubtedly. How do we operate in that and keep the commandments of the Most High? And you said something, so can we read Deuteronomy 6 real quick? And this is the difference between being content and complacent. That's a wonderful statement that she made. Hey, okay, we be content, but do we be complacent? Do we say, I got enough, so my roof is over my head, but it's leaking. I got a car, but it's broke down, but I'm content. No, try to, am I good with my 300 score credit, or do I try to get a 7?
Yes.
Right? So I'm content. I got a job. I can eat beans every day. I'm still full. Yes. I'm all right. Or can I strive for a little bit more? Yes. If I have the opportunity to, what do I do? Yes. All right, and that's a balance. That's a fight we all have to take on. Look at Deuteronomy 6, and let me see here. I'm trying to see where to start. All right, start at 4. We'll try to read this super quick, and then we'll get done. 6 and 4?
Mm-hmm. I'm in the NIV.
Okay.
Hear, O Yisrael, Yahweh our Elohim, Yahweh is one. Love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. When Yahweh your Elohim brings you into the land he swore to your fathers.
Wait, now, we all read that. We quote the Shema every week. But here's why. Yahweh's just not saying it's just, just remember me. Here's why. Look at, what was the verse you were on?
Verse 10.
Verse 10, here is why.
When Yahweh your Elohim brings you into the land he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and Jacob, to give you a land with large, flourishing cities you did not build, houses filled with all kinds of good things you did not provide.
Now, how many of us, if we buy a house, how many of us have built the house we brought? Anybody? All right? Are we living anywhere, if we get our money right, would we live in a city that is impoverished if we had a choice?
No.
So you wouldn't build your big house in the hood?
I would.
Well, you would?
Depending on what type of neighborhood.
All right. What's a bad neighborhood in Savannah? If y'all don't want to say it, that's fine. Shout out to Savannah.
Yeah, it used to be, but
You have projects. That's probably the worst.
but all the process is gone.
But yeah, most
Down there too?
Yeah,
Yeah, they getting us, man.
Yeah, they tearing them down, boy.
Wow.
They eat them up, boy. So let's see, probably. Oh my goodness.
All right, let's try Atlanta.
Yeah, Florence Street's still a bad area. That's still the bad
Oh
area.
yeah,
All right.
West Savannah. Yeah, West Savannah probably the worst.
So would you build your house there if you had?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
But there's not even enough space to build anything in West Savannah.
So if you bought some land, say, I'm gonna just buy some land and build my big old house here. Nah, right? So we would build it. It would be a house we didn't build, and it would probably be in a good city, right? Which we haven't built. Verse 11, what?
Houses filled with all kinds of good things you did not provide, wells you did not dig, and vineyards and olive groves you did not plant.
All right, if we have wells, technically we all have wells in our house, right? Our water system, our plumbing system, is technically a well. Did we build any of that? No, right? And all of this, right? And then
Vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant.
Right. And what?
Then, when you eat and are satisfied.
Then when you eat and what?
Are satisfied.
Then what?
Be careful
lest
that you do not forget Yahweh,
right.
who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery.
That's the difference. Yes. You can get so driven, you forget Elohim. Yes. And then you can get so complacent where you're not fervent. Like you said, that's a wonderful example with the talents. One man just buried them. Yahshua told him, occupy till I come.
That's work.
That's work.
Yeah, get busy doing something.
There is, we often tell people, there is a, what's the word, synergy? There is a synergistic relationship between our life work and our salvation. Yes. We can't have one next to another. The thing with religion, how we look at religion, is not how, there is no ancient word for religion. Right. Now, James mentions true religion undefiled, but in their viewpoint, economy, prosperity, health was all tied to religion. That's right. They didn't see one thing. They didn't see my job is this and then my religion is this. It was all tied to one thing. We don't see it that way. That's right. We say our faith is here, and our other life is here. I'll take a Saturday off, go to church. And then once that's done, grind time, right? We don't look at it as all having all one particular aspect of another. That's just not how we're trained to do. All right? And so because of that, we can get good things, but in doing that, we can easily forget Elohim. And that's the nuance. That's the wisdom that we need. What the writer says, hey, don't give me too much food while I forget you. That's right. And don't give me too little while I got to go and steal. Yeah, that's right. Right. We all have to find that line of contentment. And like I said before, I wish I could sit there and draw the line and tell everybody, this is how you do it. Can't. Everybody has to work out their salvation. But you got to do it with fear and trembling. And we all got to figure it out. That's why we all need the help of one another. You have the elder that has been there. I've been where you at. You know, right? And you made the decision, I got to be content with getting this award. I know I ain't going to get the state award. But you were content, one, knowing you could do it. Yeah. Right? And I got my lane. Right? I don't need man to pat me on the back but for so much. And I have to find that lane. But if you were complacent, you wouldn't even done that. But you were content enough to know I'm not going to go any further. I'll take the dub. Now, could you have been driven enough to say, okay, let me go a step further? If you did, you forget about Elohim. Yes, right. And that's the balance we have to play. That's the game we have to play. Right. All of us have to play. And like you said, Auntie was saying, hey, I'm going to give you a little bit more than I had. Same time, don't forget where you came from. But she could give that liberality because of her. And she can know where to tug, okay, hey, let's reel it back in a little bit. You probably have the same liberties. Do your children have more liberties than you have, you think? Yes. Yeah. Definitely. They have more. Do you tell them old stories? When I was young, we didn't keep the Sabbath like this. Yeah, sure did. We say it all the time. Y'all get tired of hearing it? That's right. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know how strict the Sabbath is. And then y'all, you can see it on her face. Oh, here we go through these old stories again. Good gracious. Yeah, I know we ain't, but because that strictness gave a little bit more wisdom, and you could see the world. The world is definitely changing. You can see the world change now. You didn't have cell phones. No. So how would you have kept the Sabbath with a cell phone? Would your parents just say, hey, give me the cell phones?
No, you took the phone off the hook.
What's that? You took the phone off the hook?
Yeah. When the Sabbath came,
no cell phone.
Well, we didn't even have cell phones, right?
Yeah. So when Friday night set,
that's what's up.
The phone came off the hook, unplugged from the wall, and no phone calls, no nothing to the sunset on Saturday.
Wow.
That's how strict it was.
Yeah, that's what she was.
So y'all know y'all wouldn't even had a chance on looking at a cell phone.
No, definitely not. And I still cut mine off right now. because
Really?
of that. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I don't want nothing to steal my joy from this
Yeah,
day.
you can't. What's going on out there? It stays out there because if you get the phone is scratching you, somebody calling you.
Yeah.
The first thing you gonna be like, oh, I gotta go. So that's taking you away from your blessing.
Yeah.
And when you already in the house, you stay there. So whatever go on, let me know later on what's going on.
Now, do you enforce that rule?
No.
Oh yeah, but like I say, all mine's grown. So these my niece and nephew. But like we say, my brother, that's just my brother. That's my oldest brother.
Yeah.
He's been like he was telling everybody. Like he say, we forced it to all of them.
Okay.
And make sure that, like you say, if you there, stay there.
Right.
Whatever goes on out there, let it be. Because, like you say, we know where we at.
Yeah.
So, we safe. The ones out there, we'll know later.
Do y'all think your parents would allow y'all to have cell phones at a young age?
No.
No.
Not even have them?
No.
Do y'all allow your children to have cell phones at a young age?
I wouldn't allow mine, but they do. But to me, the answer is no because, again, I come from the old school way.
Yeah.
You supposed to be where you supposed to be. So you don't need
Not
to
just
tell
on Sabbath, period.
that period.
Yeah.
To me, you be where you supposed to be at. So I don't need to have give you a cell phone to find out where you at.
Yeah.
I supposed to know where you at. And that's how we growed up.
And they call it a cell phone for a reason. It's a cell. You're locked in.
That's right.
And they capture you.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
All the kids say, come on, all right, cut it, preacher man, cut it.
Listen, I'm a young parent, and I definitely agree with my uncle. My son do not have a phone. We don't allow him to use our phones. He has no electronics because I definitely see with my younger cousins how it has affected. Like my son still loves to go outside.
Yeah.
He is sickening, but I love that he's sickening because he's interacting.
Yeah.
He annoys all of them, but at the same time, he's still being a child. I feel
Yeah.
like when you introduce them to the world, because that's what the cell phone is to me.
Can't get it
you
back.
introduce them into the world, you aging them, you're growing them up faster, maturing their brain faster. You're not even allowing them to explore the world for themselves.
Right.
And then when you're giving them that device, you don't know what they're learning. I'm your first. Yahweh is our teacher, and you have to fear me first in order for you to understand fearing Yahweh.
100%.
And my thing is, I have to guide you there first, and then when we get to that point, then we'll get to that point. But as of right now, like Monty say, you supposed to be where you at, and if I call, you need to be there until we get to a place where you need a cell phone.
Yeah.
But right now, you don't need one.
Yeah. We were kind of like that. I don't like to talk about it because it makes it seem like some parents are fine with it, and I understand it. But one time we gave them cell phones, and I caught one of the children. They weren't doing wrong with it. They just weren't being responsible, and as a believer, because they had them, and we gave it to them. We felt like, all right, you need it. It's getting crazy. They had to take the train, and different things. So I took one. I took it, and I said, I tell you what, I'm gonna give you a flip phone. And I gave the child a flip phone, and I said, you need to be where you need to be, and you text or call. And they had to
The T9.
hit the number. And I would say, are you home? And they would be, they would take a long
We
time.
got it. Yes. No. Please, one word answers. If there was no sentences, no. Yes. No. Thank you.
But it is. It's a culture we have to, and I won't say we need a lot more wisdom than our parents before, because I wouldn't dare say that. But I think there's more of an attentiveness that you're going to have that they didn't have to have, that they didn't have to deal with as a parent. Because times are getting darker. The world's getting a lot more evil. Did you ever? So it wasn't a lot of money in football and basketball that was known when you were in high school, was it? Like it wasn't just.
No, it was just more. You would just want to be, of course, our hero was in football was Lawrence Taylor,
Yeah.
OJ the Juice,
Yeah.
and all those people right there. So the money issue wasn't there. It's just that you just want the fame that with them to play
Right.
football. But like you say, the money didn't. It wasn't so much about money. Just the fact of playing sports.
Yeah. And now they have AAU, they have all this stuff while you're young.
Yeah.
And now, so he would see dollar signs
Already.
And so that's something that as parents, and then your son, if he's the same way, if he's growing, if he's bigger, and if he's fast, somebody's going to say, yo, what's up? And then those are conversations you're going to have the decision, and then you'll probably say, hey, you're going to have to make your decision. I don't know. But that's an awareness that your parents now have to have that his father didn't have to have. Days are darker, times are more evil now. And we can't just take the phone off the hook now because everybody now got their own phones. And the notifications, everything.
Yes.
And so it's harder to keep the Sabbath. It's harder to take the phone on Saturday when you have it within 6 days a week. They're going to be more erratic.
To be clear, so my just giving an example, my cousin and his wife, they are older than me and my husband, but they're still like they're in their later 30s, and they have teenage daughters, and we was just up there with them. Actually twice because my son, that's his godparents.
Aww.
And every Saturday they take their kids' phone.
Yeah.
Friday night they don't get it back until the sunset Saturday.
That's beautiful.
And I've watched that 3 times.
Now
this summer.
do they
And they do be antsy though.
Yeah, right.
I see them, they be like waiting for the sun to set.
Daddy, can I have my phone? And they do.
Yeah, because you can't. It's not like taking the phone off the hook no more. And now it's like, okay, now there's a scripture in Amos where Elohim got mad because people were saying, when is the Sabbath out?
Yeah.
So we go buy and sell. When is the new moon out? Because they wanted to go back to their routine. And Elohim didn't like that, and that's something that now that generation has to deal with now. Now when I take the phone off the hook, now you still do it, right? You say, I still do it.
Yeah, my phone is off now.
Right. And you're fine.
I'm fine.
Hey, I ain't missed nothing. But now that generation has to say, I wonder what's going on. So that's an awareness now that this generation has to have. We need Ruach HaKodesh even more, right? You got a mic? That's what I'm talking about.
I was gonna say what you said about her child fearing her first.
Yes.
And then her.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good. But I seen something. I don't know if it was a study or something about how your child's relationship, like usually teens or like children, their relationship with God is usually dictated on how they view their parents, like subconsciously. How they look at God is how they kind of view their relationship with their parents.
Yeah.
So that's really good that you said that. And also based on like the structure thing, not just on the Sabbath, especially surrounding like devices and phones like that. Obviously, when we were younger, we didn't really have phones a good part of our childhood. But even when we did, we never had phones like on the Sabbath, but we also didn't really have them at night during the weekends either. So us not having it on the Sabbath wasn't like as hard because we didn't have it like throughout the night or things like that. And we didn't get phones till like we were teenagers. 12, 13, 14. Really, and we didn't get like an actual phone until after that. But the structure is really important, and just like not encouragement. Like I'm not a parent, but as a kid of somebody with parents who did have structure, don't like let up on your kid. Like it's probably gonna be hard, especially I remember all the times I cried to my parents like, please give me a phone. Like all my friends have phones, and looking back, I'm really grateful that they didn't. because the structure is really important. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because I really like what you said about your kid fearing you first and then them having fear for Yahweh. That was really good.
Yeah.
And
You got something to say?
Oh,
You sure?
and I want to say something to I want to let the young children know. Don't get it twisted now. The cellular phone wasn't in play, so remember now. But still, the world was in play.
Right.
And even when the world was in play, we knew. But just as he says, we couldn't wait till the sun set on Sabbath because we already had our mind planned to go to the club, wherever the case may be, after the Sabbath. So I'm just
know
let
that
you
about
know
your
that.
uncle? He
So
did
so
it
don't
like that?
think that we was all holier than thou.
Right.
And then we're right there, you know what? But it's just that we didn't have this distraction, but we still had distractions
Right.
that was still poking at us and hunting at us too.
Yes.
So I don't want to sit here and be sitting like that we was all that right, because we wasn't.
Right.
But we had. But I think the problem now, the devices don't let you draw the line in the sand.
Right.
And we still had a line to draw in the sand because we didn't have those devices to make us not go any further because we just knew this is as far as we're gonna go. And and that cell phone and other devices they got keep you from drawing a line in the sand. It carries you into different places that you shouldn't go. That's it. But I want to put it out there is that Will was not always the holy dial and the people that just loved the Sabbath and stuff. You know what? Because yes, we had to do it, but we was waiting. We was counting down the moments when it was over for us to go do stuff that we ain't had no business doing.
Yes, man.
Okay, so I guess how my uncle says, I guess I want to play a devil's advocate a little bit. I don't know.
Angel.
So basically, I'm a youth. I'm only 18.
Okay.
I got my first phone when I was 13, 14. When you're transferring to freshman year, you're 13. 14, yeah, I went 14.
Okay.
I bought my own phone because, mama, I had got a little summer job. I was like, oh, yeah, my mama can't do nothing because I got my first phone.
Yeah.
But it was also some structure there because she took it at night. I'm not going to she took it at night. And after a while, because I was paying the bill with my after I left my summer job, I was paying the bill by myself. But as soon as it was her turn to pay the bill, she started, yeah, you're going to have to give me the phone at night. You're going to have to start doing this. When you come home from school, put it up. And I can say that the phones, for me at least, I can't speak for no other youth in the building, but the phone, for me at least, I can agree that it is a distraction, not only when it comes to spirituality, but just physical as well, because I'm an upcoming college student as well. And I catch myself, like, I'm scrolling on Instagram, I'm scrolling on TikTok. I can put in some scholarships, or let me go handle my account business, make sure everything is together. I'll catch myself like, oh my gosh, there's other stuff I need to do than scrolling. But I also can say, though, because my cousin, she was talking about our older cousin in their 30s who takes their kids' phones, because they usually host the youth trips we go on. Like one of these kind of, for the summer, they host youth trips. So when all the youth is with them, they'll be like Friday night to Saturday night, they're like, everybody got to give their phone up. Yeah. So I was a victim to giving the phone up on Friday night to Saturday night as well. But I also feel like in my case, I use my phone Saturday sometimes for entertainment purposes. And not to say that the Sabbath is boring, but I mean, when I was younger, I did think the Sabbath was boring. That's just me being mature. I'm not going to sit up here a lot. I thought it was boring. I was like, I didn't want to sit here all day and hear y'all yap. But after growing up, like, I find enjoyment in hearing the talks like these and the song service. Like, I feel like that one Bible scripture, you got to find what you enjoy. I can't name it. I'm not a Bible scripture namer, but it's something we read. You got to find your own enjoyment in the Sabbath. Right. And I found it growing up, but I still struggle sometimes. I still struggle with it. But going back to the original plot of the story. But with them, they also, when they took it, they gave us something to redirect. So they took it, they made us play Bible games. They made us, without your phone, find the scripture in the Bible, come reenact. Like, it was a redirection as well, because mine was entertainment. I needed my phone to be entertained. I felt like without my phone, I was bored. So doing that, they gave us something else to redirect and be more spiritually connected. And I feel like you can also push that into your daily life as well, like I mentioned with college. Put my phone down, I'm doing scholarships. I'm doing my job. I got other stuff I need to do. So it's just redirecting your time and having that emotional and physical maturity about yourself, which I'm still working on. I'm not going to lie. I'm not the perfect one. Yeah, I'm about to say I'm not perfect when it comes to this. I'll say that's my hold up. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Wow. Yes, please.
Okay, and I wanted to say something else too. As she said, that's my younger cousin, but I actually, everybody know, like in my family, like I was the kid that did a lot. Like I said, I did a lot. I was very active throughout the year. I'm always doing something, and my auntie, I was always in a performance art school, so she gave me my phone. I got my phone at a young age, not gonna lie, and me and my husband talk about this all the time, but my stance on it is so different because for one, I did fear my auntie.
Yeah.
I feared her, like truly feared her. So that was one thing, but also because like I'm the only kid with a phone, I really don't need the phone because like nobody else. I'm in 3rd grade with a phone.
Right.
Okay, my auntie only calling me, hey, your uncle coming to pick you up after dance for school, or this person coming to pick because she's at work. That's all I used it for.
Yeah.
Yes, I could have used it for other things, but bring it back to, this is a point I do want to prove for parents who do, because I know there are parents that feel like they have to give their kid a phone. I feel like the only circumstances you can give your kid a phone, well, you should give your kid a phone. And even if they do have a phone, you should keep them as busy as possible, because I always tell my little cousins, I avoided so much chaos, things that I could have been in that I saw other girls in. Like, I think that's your daughter, right? Correct? Yes. One thing she said, I agree with, like looking at other kids that wasn't as active, or other kids whose parents didn't have structure. For me, I had both.
Yes.
And how it has shaped my life and as an adult. And I'm definitely applying that with my son. And I always tell my aunties, they're in middle school at this point and up. They need to be applying for, trying out for every sport, anything you can do possible to keep them, because a wandering mind, like what my grandma and granddad always say, idle mind is a double workshop.
Yes.
So keeping them busy as much as possible, because you can't, while you at practice, you can't be on your phone.
Right.
When you at dance, you can't be on your phone. Football practice, can you be on your phone? Okay, so it's still giving them that break of, okay, I'm not worried about the outside world.
Yeah. That's wonderful. That is wonderful.
I just wanted to read Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is abomination to the Most High, but a just weight is his delight.
Yes.
And I keep hearing everybody giving both sides, and there's a balance that has to be done, and to use discernment.
Right.
I love how Anna said that, you know, at the time she probably hated it, but she honors that y'all were strict in that, because she probably can see the friends who didn't have that structure and how they go off. You know? So I just think that's beautiful, you know, especially y'all who have generations of it. You can see how it changes, but it's still a balance.
Yeah.
You know, so I just think the Most High delights in that.
Without question. And I think she said a wonderful thing, and a very real thing, that, hey, when I was young, Sabbath seemed boring. And that's a reality that our young people have to deal with, because I think when we were growing up, we kind of we were a little used to boredom. We knew what is boredom. Go out, just throw a ball up. Just be throwing the ball up. Nobody there, playing ball by yourself. And it's hard for kids to do that now. I think I heard one person say our children will never be bored. They don't know how to be bored. They don't know how to stop at a stoplight. I heard one person say, hey, there'll never be art the way it was. And he said, why? And they say, hey, you ever see somebody at a stoplight? He said, yeah. He said, what are they doing? They're looking at their phone. They're not thinking. They're not meditating, so they're not really being creative. All the creation comes now from effects. If you can make a movie with effects, that's your creativity. But the storylines are trash. You ever watch an action movie? All the same, right? All got a car scene. All got, this is the last big crime. We got one more shot, and then we get out the game. And then like about 4 or 5 people get killed. It's a car scene. Somebody sets somebody up. Yeah, it's all, you know, that you see how many sequels, the Marvel Universe. Yeah. You know, it's just lack of creativity now because people aren't thinking. And that's the thing with Daniel, is that Torah really was the seed of his intelligence. Yeah. And that gave him that wisdom, that insight. Same thing with Yosef when he was in Egypt. Mm-hmm. That gave him that wisdom and that insight. He had the same thing. He was in the land of the enemies. In Egypt, he saw dreams. Daniel was the same way. he was in a type of bondage, Yahweh dealt with him. Most High dealt with him. And our children, if we give them that structure, we'll be surprised how much Elohim will deal with them. And if we just eliminate their distractions as much as we can in the Sabbath, but the core of it has to be Torah. That has to be the core. It has to be the seed. And you'll be surprised how much natural wisdom and understanding. Because I think who was saying it? Hey, you were saying Sabbath came, we took the phone, but we had games. And it's redirection. He said, hey, let's redirect our focus. All right, come, let's act out a scene. You find this scripture. And while it seems like it's just spiritual, but really it is enhancing a natural ability to use your mind and be resourceful. And that's why the scripture says, hey, these commandments are your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations. It's not just keeping the Sabbath, but it's building the type of discipline that you have. You can shut down. You don't have to be overwhelmed. You know, you can set up boundaries just by keeping the commandments. You know, you could discern, this person ain't about nothing, by just understanding just natural good and evil things. And we'd be surprised how much Torah, the commandments, and the structure builds that natural ability.
I'm just going to give a personal anecdote, I guess.
Yeah.
Regarding what you were saying about how important it is just to read, just to like having your intelligence be based in Torah, just in Yahweh's word and everything like that. Y'all as parents growing up, I know Anna could attest to this. Y'all were very like staunch on just giving us the word, making sure that we were involved with it, not just knowing what it was, but just like reading it, things like that. Like we knew where to turn to if somebody were to call out a scripture. We didn't have to go to the table of contents in order to find it. Like we could just like see where it was in the book, like familiarize ourselves with the word of Elohim. Whether that's just reading the Bible, writing down verses that we read. Y'all would give us assignments and stuff to write, but those were things that were exercises in our minds. I'm sure like it carried over to school and everything like that, like to where, just where we were learning the word. Of course, there were principles and things like that we learned in the word that were good for us, but just mentally and like as far as our intelligence, like it also helped us build in that regard. Like I think there's a connection between, people or kids who are active in church and everything like that and academic success. I think there's a correlation between that. I don't know if there's any data behind it, but like from what I've seen in my experience, like if you see kids who like were grown up and just reading things, so like their academic prowess is also like reflected in that. And I think that is something that's good for like children to be involved in the word and everything like that and to learn it, but not just for the spirit and like the principles, but just simple intelligence, something that's good for your brain cognitively to do and to just be on top of.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I gotta say.
100%. 100%.
Now there is data behind it. It's not new data, but you look at all your old R&B singers. All of them came out of the church. Look at all your politicians, all your speakers and poor stuff. Those children, them young ones, they got there. If you go back to their autobiography and the story, they all grew up in somebody, a church. We say church, but now we say assembly.
Yeah.
But so it is data behind it that it does hone your skills. But Hasatan came in.
Yes.
And they took and rediverted.
Yes.
Their talents and made it for that money to make them go something else. But they all got honed skill coming out of the assembly. You just go back and do all about it. Now these new ones I don't know nothing about. I always say this, and I'm not putting down rappers and stuff, because rappers I like Hebrew rapping and stuff. But the rappers is bad because they was rapping about killing somebody, shooting somebody, giving somebody drugs. They're the only culture that came up that got success off of not coming out the church, but coming actually out the streets.
Right.
Think about it. For all your true talent, jazz players, all of them, all these players, everybody came from somebody's assembly first.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Man, I thought you were my age.
I'm 63.
Wow. You born? I was like, Oh, jeez. All right. Thank Yahweh for you. I hope y'all honor your uncle. And, of course, your aunt. It sounds like you were just an amazing foundation in the family. So, I hope y'all honor. You feel honored?
Yes.
That's good. It is, and so these are things as our next generation. This is third or fourth now coming up. Your child is fourth?
I'm third. They're fourth.
Okay.
They would want to me. Oh, this is so confusing. That's my first cousin.
Okay.
Who would be third? Oh, Sage would be fourth.
Okay.
Sage would be fourth. My son would be fourth.
Okay, so he's fourth. Who's Sage? Raise your hand. Okay, so you're fourth, and then you're all right. So who knows? Could they be the last generation?
That's right.
Before Hamashiach comes.
That's right.
We pray it too. I say, man, if I close my eyes and Elohim is not, Hamashiach is not returned, I will be very disappointed. All the signs point to this. We don't got much time longer, and so, excuse me. And there are things that we are going to have to figure out. That wisdom is needed as that generation comes, and at the same time, your understanding is needed more of the times, and we all have to pray for that wisdom that Daniel had to pray for, and that Joseph have to pray for, and there are going to be times we're going to have to go through it.
Yes.
Daniel went through it, Joseph went through it, the Hebrew boys went through it for making their stance. And sometimes we're going to have to say, hey, how valuable is this walk to you? And those are tough questions we're all going to have to deal with. So we thank Elohim for everybody, every insight, every wisdom. It is an honor to have you all here, so that way you can share and help us to understand. We have my godson, he's getting ready to bring in, he'll be having a baby soon. His lovely wife, his wife will be having a baby. He won't, right? So, and that's another thing. How desensitized are y'all with I'll say, don't say it. All right, I'll say it all. Wow, y'all are probably more desensitized to other people in other walks of life, in relationships, than your great uncle is or your uncle is. When I say other walks of life, y'all are. All right. I'll just say it. All right. So y'all are probably more desensitized to same-sex relationships than your parents was, right?
Yes.
Right. You probably you frown up.
Yeah. I mean, it was always there, but it truly was in the closet.
Yeah.
And now they done came and kicked the closet door off the hinges.
Yeah. And y'all are it is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Y'all are kind of desensitized to it. Right. Yeah, it is what it is, right? And so how much will your son be desensitized by it?
Well, for me, this is a constant battle. I had this conversation at work.
Get your mic.
I'm sorry, I got the mic. That's a really hard topic for me because okay, so I'm a truck driver. I work around predominantly a lot of men.
Yeah.
And we was in a workshop. We had a shutdown for the plant, the Hyundai plant in Savannah, and we had, in order for us to keep our money flowing, they just did classes.
Yeah.
So I'm in there. I'm just talking. I came home. Well, my husband called me on lunch, and I was so frustrated because I was telling him the conversation I had. And what ended up happening was we saw that one of these NBA young boy, I know they know exactly who he is.
Yeah.
I saw on my TikTok that he came out as bisexual.
Did he?
It made me so aggravated because I was just like, this is the stuff I was telling one of my coworkers next to me. I showed him, I said, this is stuff that really be making me mad because y'all know that a lot of these kids look up to. He is like a trendsetter, the blueprint.
Now I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. I don't know any of his music, but I have a family member that That's the only way I know
He's
him.
who Jay-Z was for us.
He's
them.
really that big?
To them.
He is, yes.
Really?
And then when I say far off the
they
deep
say that.
end,
Really?
NBA young boy.
That's what he's saying. Yeah, he's saying, really? So, because like I said, I have a family member. That's the only reason I know who he is, because he just always talked about NBA Youngboy. I'm like, who's this guy? And so wow.
So to get to the whole end of the topic with the sex, the same sex stuff, or homosexuality, my coworker was just like, yeah. He was like, yeah, how do you prevent, because I have a son.
Yeah.
I said, well, this is why we have to be more aware as parents, and all these men are older than me, but more aware as parents, because they're putting it right in our kids' face, especially with our black men. They are pushing it on them overtime, hard, and it really infuriates me, because it's like we already deal with enough as a community, and it's like the constant attacks that it's like, dang, do I have to just close my son off from the whole world at this point?
Yeah.
Because that's somebody that all of them, I wouldn't say all of them idolize, but their group, their generation, they idolize him. So if that's okay for him and he's so gangster to do it, what do you think your kids is gonna think? So another person jumps in, our teacher, he jumps in this conversation, was on break, and he was just like, so how do you navigate that? I said, well, I always redirect my son. So, for instance, I took my son to a doctor's appointment, and the doctor was like, what is your favorite color? I think she was asking for whatever reason, I don't know. And he said pink. She saw my face. She saw my face. She was like, oh, no, that's a great color. It's so boyish. There's nothing wrong with liking pink. That made me mad. But I held my composure.
Yeah.
When we got in the car, this was a teaching moment for Mommy, and I definitely called his dad and let him know what was said. But I said, listen, I've never heard you say pink. We have these conversations all the time. I was an at-home mother for a while, and I did teach him. And we would have those conversations like, what's your favorite color? He was into the Spider-Man thing, so it blew me. I mean, it threw me off when he said pink. So I'm like, where did this come from? You've never... Then I correlated. I said, ooh, you started pre-K this year. It's school. I said, because I've never heard you say this when I was teaching you at home. Now that you are in public school system, and my auntie told me about it, they can't redirect. So if a little boy go into the I don't know, playing with dolls or babies, they can't tell them, no, that's not for little boys. They have to allow them to do it. So when I thought about it, I was like, okay. So when I asked him, I said, well, EJ, where did pink come from? I thought blue and red was your favorite color. And he was just like, those are my favorite colors too, but I really like pink as well. I said, that's fine, but pink is for girls. Pink is for girls, okay? Most girly stuff are what colors? He said pink and purple. My point exact. So I said, I need you, I'm not saying you can't like the color, but I want you to understand that is a woman color. And the only reason why I told him that at that age, because he don't understand the difference.
Right,
as grown men or teenagers, you can wear pink, you know that. But when you're a child, they need to understand the difference. So I navigate that to say, I'm going to be that parent that tells him, no, that's for girls.
Yeah.
He has a lot of girl cousins, as you can see, and boys really don't. They older, so they really don't take. They just play with them. But he's around the girls more because they're closer to his age. They do little stuff like paint their nails and do stuff around him. I had to tell them, when he's around, be aware, because he's looking at y'all, and he wants to do those things. Y'all have to be aware, because he is a little boy and he's impressionable.
Yeah.
So not only do I talk to him and I let him know, hey, that's for girls. Polish is for girls.
that's just some of the things that you would have to deal with now that we would have never thought possible. You know, I wouldn't even thought possible with them, and I've had to, you know, and we really just need wisdom. Now, if he goes and says that in school, you're getting a phone call, you know, and that's crazy. Yeah, if he goes, hey, pick is for girls, if he tells another kid, they're going to probably call you as a parent.
And that's why he is in private school, coming forward. And it's a 7-day week. We're not 7-day Adventists, but as close as it's a 7-day Adventist private school, and that's where he at right now.
Okay, so that's good. But and they often scared that I'm gonna get canceled. He's scared I'm gonna get canceled, so they kind of keep me in line as much as possible.
But I'm like that in between age. Like I'm not old, but I'm not that young, so I can see that when it was getting pushed.
Yeah.
Anyway, forget y'all. I can see when it was getting pushed towards us. Like I remember being like 5th, 6th grade, and I remember like, you know, Cameron Dip said they wearing like pink furs and stuff like that. And they were like, oh yeah, real men wear pink. Yeah. And I remember I was like, I got uncles because I ain't never seen them wear no pink. Yeah. And I remember I went home. I told I raised by my great grandma, my grandma, and I remember telling like, grandma, they said real men wear pink shoes. Ain't no men in this house wearing no pink. And now, you know, getting older, and I started seeing that propaganda, that agenda getting pushed more and more, or even when, you know, like, I don't know if y'all familiar, you know, the California movement of wearing the skinny jeans, the pants being overly skinny to the point that you like, is you a man?
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, like she was just saying with my son, when she told me that, it did make me mad, but she was like, you know, don't come with aggression, you know, redirect. And so I said, you know what? We finna go buy some cowboy boots, and we're gonna start doing stuff, you know, different little things around the house that you gonna, more masculine things. Like, okay, you ain't finna go be around your girl cousins as much, cause okay, daddy don't gotta work all this overtime no more. Okay, we're gonna take time, we're gonna spend time.
The world is getting darker and colder, and I think that's the whole point that we're trying to discover through this is how do we become a perfect people in this land? And it's a lot of discussion, a lot of talk, a lot of conversation we have to do as a community, and we all have to pray. Until our Mashiach returns, we have to raise our children and become people in this land. And we study Torah, but there's some things Ruach HaKodesh is just gonna have to guide us with. We just need the nuances of it in order to.
I just wanted to say, I know, because we're older, so it definitely wasn't something we had to deal with. We knew about it, but it was, like you said, something that was over there in the closet. This younger generation has to deal with it, and I know it's not an acceptance, but you're more so like, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I get that. But to be careful not to promote it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah, it is. You deal with it, and you're not going to be in anybody's face. We don't do that. But I think it's wise to not promote it and to highlight it like it's okay and it's accepted.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is, but we're not encouraging it.
Right.
You know?
Those are some of the nuances we have to. Same way they had to deal with idolatry in those lands. These are things we have to deal with. And so we just pray and ask for wisdom that the Most High grant us that.
And another thing is, too, just what you said, I'm 100% with you on that right there. And we have to be sometimes that voice that cries out when everybody else ain't crying out, saying, it's all, I'm cool. I'm not cool with it, and it's the way it is, but it ain't right. And that and be with that right there. But again, and to the youth and to all who else is listening, really, they got you thinking that the whole is acceptable, but it's not. It's a small group, but because they are mass-produced propaganda. Because think about it. Remember years ago when they passed the section, what it was, Section 186 bill or whatever. The whole world shot it. The whole United States shot it down. Even California shot that bill. But what they did, they secretly redirected it and pushed to the Supreme Court to push their way over. Because I don't want to say what I'm saying, but you remember the bill they were saying against the everybody in every 50 states say no to it. Every 50 states, even California say no to it, but they still pushed it. So it make you think that everybody's there, but the people who is in power is the one that's pushing this pushing this agenda, and because they're in power pushing the agenda, then we think that everybody's for it. But really, when you really start talking to the mass of people, even the young kids stuff, they're still at power until they be influenced by the people, the power heads. And again, like she said, they're trying to attack Israel. They're trying to attack because why? They know we're waking up. They know it's fixing to be getting ready. So why? I got to do what I got to do. I got to go back and attack those ones right there.
100%.
It's Balaam all over again.
All over again.
All over again.
Yeah. It is.
Get them away from their God.
It's the days of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yes.
Such as days of Sodom and Gomorrah, so to be when the Son of Man returned. And Rabbi Byers told me this. He said, listen, he said, when you see that flag, he said, that's a sign to us. I'm coming back. When you see the rainbow flags going, he said, I know it looks like it's a lot. He says, but take that as a sign. I'm remembering my covenant. They're telling us, I'm going to remember my covenant, and I'm coming back to get this world. And that's what I keep reminding myself, and we need to keep reminding ourselves that the kingdom is sure to come, and we have to prepare for it. I just think this is just I hope everybody was enriched by the discussions and everything. It's amazing to get y'all perspective. Because that's what we are trying to build this foundation for our young ones. And like I said, we are welcoming another addition to the family soon, and we want to just be well prepared for it. So anything else before we split this session here?
I would say this to the youth, and that's my mission to the youth, and that's why I'm here. Y'all are Baruch, first of all, is because when we grew up, we thought we was all alone. We know we wasn't all alone, but we thought we was all alone. And all this dialogue that y'all have, we didn't have this dialogue. Mm-hmm. We was the one that was in the cult. We was the ones that my mama we couldn't afford. The reason why we didn't believe in Christmas because we couldn't afford Christmas because we come out of a big family. That was far from the truth. So these are the things that we got picked at. You know what? We was that kid that all us standing outside the classroom when everybody's pledged leading to the flag, because that was told. We don't pledge our leading to the flag. We pledge leading to Yahweh. So way back then, we always was these ones. So I'm telling y'all this, y'all better grab hold to this right here. Y'all better hold on to it, because I tell my wife today, the scriptures are fulfilling. It says wisdom shall flourish through the knowledge shall flow through the streets like water. Yeah. It's here, but it's gonna get cut off again. And when it does, this is it. You better have it in you. Mm-hmm. So y'all better grab hold to this stuff. Y'all better take all these old us talking for you can fold back onto it. And this stand fast because truly he's waking up a set of people. And y'all, and I want y'all to be those ones that there's a passion in scripture where I don't even Jeremy want to say that they're gonna grow up a generation that already know his law. Ain't got to be taught it. Yeah. And I want y'all, if it's not y'all children be that one. That's my goal. If I don't see it, I want to go down knowing that, hey, look, there's a set of children that going to grow up and they ain't got to be taught you always law. They're going to already have it from the day they born.
Indeed. Well said. Well said. Can we have a tradition? Can we all stand for Elder Baker while we're here? Just stand and honor him. Scripture says stand for the hoary head. I mean, that's scripture. It's not... That's scripture. So can we just stand and honor him, great man of Elohim. It is an honor to have you here, sir.
It's an honor to be here.
Indeed, it's a great honor. While we're standing, we'll break here. We're going to have a prayer to end this session. very brief break if anybody wants some brief refreshments. And I don't know if anybody drinks coffee or not, but if no, or water or something, whatever. And we'll break and then we'll come back in for the second service and then we'll get everybody home. It is an honor to have everybody. Thank everyone for your insight, your wisdom, allow Ruach HaKodesh to allow y'all to speak and even share with us. Let's continue to keep one another in prayer, in this generation in prayer, because the days are evil. So thank y'all for being fortified and strong in this walk. And thank y'all all, Lady Baker, even you for coming in this way. I know it wasn't easy probably coming in this way as well. So thank Elohim for y'all. He is our strength like no other. With heads bowed. Most High, King and Creator of all the earth that sitteth upon the throne. He that is only immortal dwelling in the lights. We thank you for all things, every mind, every generation, every insight that is here today, that we are here in the midst of your holy rest. Thank you for all things. We ask that your strength be upon us, to guide us with understanding and wisdom in the land of our enemies, that we may be faithful, and that you remember the covenant that you have made with our fathers, and that we know you even here and even now, that we will not be forsaken, that we will not be turned away, that while we are dealing with the iniquities of our fathers and the sins and transgressions of those that came before us, let us find mercy and strength, grace and help in the time of need. We thank you for all things. Prepare us for your return and your kingdom which is sure to come. Perfect us in the way of holiness and sanctification. We thank you for all things. Strengthen every generation, everyone in school, everyone in college, everyone in their respectful businesses and careers, that we may have the insight and wisdom provided by you, Father of lights and Elohim of mercy. In all things, we thank you. In the name of Yeshua, Most High, where everyone says, so let it be. All right, let's break for a quick second and we'll come on back. Thank Elohim for everybody. Sorry.
Sunday Night Lit. And what we want to say is, welcome.